National Road Safety Authority says 44 people were killed through road traffic accidents during the 2020 electioneering season. The 2016 elections recorded the same figure. The only difference is that this time road crashes resulting from electioneering activities shot by 55%. On Zoom is David Osafo-Adontain, who is Director of Planning and Programs. Many thanks for joining us. How worrying are these figures?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
Yeah, very well. Okay, good afternoon to you and to all our viewers. The crashes, the deaths and the injuries have been reported. The police have given the statistics, and we have put it out clearly for every Ghanaian to see that on the 7th day, when there was the voting, all the way to the 10th, that 4 days, we lost 44 persons on our roads. 157 persons got injured, and then we had 155 crashes. Now, if you compare to the same period, 2016, we recorded 100 crashes, 44 deaths, and then 169 injuries. So clearly, you could see that in terms of the crashes, it escalated by 55% above the 2016 figure. We made some savings in terms of the injuries, 157 and 169, about 7% reduction. It's the number of deaths that remained stable, 44 in 2016 and then 44 this time round in 2020. So that is the situation, my good friend.
That's quite worrying. Of course, if you say this has increased by 55% compared to 2016, is that to say our campaigns, our extensive campaigns against road crashes aren't yielding any positive results?
I think that I would rather attribute it to the fact that much as we did in terms of engaging the general populace, particularly political parties where we had to engage their leadership at the national and regional levels, constituency levels, and all that. We produced and guided them how to use Road Safety Code of Ethics, which in the content provided guidelines as to how they should transport their followers and wishes, how they should conduct in terms of their campaigns and rallies and all that. We asked them to have road safety champions and officers within their rank and file. I think that some of them complied with the content, with the provisions. Others did not. And you could see that the situation leading to the voting day is that we had a series of crashes involving political party leaderships. Some of them lost their lives. Some also got injured. And on the day of the elections and beyond, 2 days after, when the EC came up and announced the winners of the presidential elections and then the parliamentary elections, you could see the excitement coming from their supporters. People had to run to the streets and misbehave in terms of road use, especially those sitting on motorbikes. You could see how they were maneuvering on the roads without due care. They did not comply with the rules and regulations. People had to drink and go and drive, sit behind steering wheel and all that. So I think that we, the National Road Safety Authority, I must say that we did a lot of job. We were on radio and TV at all times. We engaged the people on the ground at constituency levels. We had to advise people as to how to behave when the results are announced by the EC and all that. But you see, in these situations, sometimes you can't be everywhere to control everybody. It requires that people have to take that responsibility, the safety on their own, and so on. But unfortunately, I think we had people who were so recalcitrant. They did not take our advice. They had to do things beyond control, and they lost their lives. It's very unfortunate, but it happens in election years.
What's the plan? What's the plan going forward in getting us out of here?
I think that in terms of the deaths, I must say that it's remained stable. 4 years down the line, If nothing was done, the situation would have been worse, because you had all the factors increasing at every time. Every 4 years, you find number of vehicles growing. You find number of people, population growing, and all the factors would always work against us. But we stood very firm and strong with the media support, the kind of engagement we did. And of course, the leadership of some political parties also supported us. But moving forward, we think that in the next 4 years, we must strengthen the capacity of political parties in terms of having road safety champions for their leadership, their flag bearers, and their parliamentary candidates to accept the challenge and be more responsible themselves. And then they should also let it trickle down to the rank and file of their party members and supporters. We're looking at a way of entrenching some laws and regulations within campaigns and political party operations so that we can enforce it. Now that the National Road Safety Commission has become an authority, we have to find ways of fitting ourselves into political party operations said that they can have road safety champions, road safety leadership, like they have organizing secretaries, and they have party general secretaries and so on. They should have some positions that people would have to occupy so that they can operate within the laws and the wings of the road traffic regulations, and then the code of ethics that we give them, so that we can also enforce it. But beyond that, words must come from political leadership. Flag bearers must mount platforms, campaign platforms and rallies, and speak to the issue of road safety. We must also see them having it in their manifestos. Road safety must become part and parcel of developmental issues, and progressively we can entrench it into activities of political parties, so that during campaigns and rallies it can be seen and pronounced that political party leaderships and then supporters abide by them. But we're going into Christmas, and so the ecstasy, the excitement, I believe, will continue to get closer to Christmas and even beyond, when the president is going to be inaugurated on the 7th. So we are alert. We are strengthening our activities and campaigns. We are not going to sit down. We're not going to more or less relax at all. The campaign will still go on. The Arrive Alive campaign is on. We are moving to radios. We are moving to TVs. We are going one-on-one to meet drivers and engage them, transport operators. We are also moving to churches, to mosques, to markets, to anywhere that you see human beings gathered. We will engage them and speak to them and advise them. We are also going to urge on our police partners, the MTTD, to move on to the streets and then come back to reactivate their strategy of fighting indiscipline, war against indiscipline.
On our roads.
On our road.
I'm grateful for your time. David Osafo Adonting is Director of Planning and Programs. That's for Arrive Alive, brought to you by the National Road Safety Authority with support from Toyota Ghana, Logistics Movers, and JoyNews' Drive Safe campaign.